Greetings fellow tank commanders. In this video I'm going to be showing you a game that I played in the Panzer 58 Mutz. This is a tier 8 German premium medium tank with regular matchmaking. The game I'm playing is an encounter battle on Prokhorovka with tier 9 as the top tier and no artillery. For this game my tank is equipped with a gun rammer, improved ventilation, and binoculars. And I am using my best German crew, which has 15 crew skills and perks. I decided to start off the game doing some active spotting, and to just try to figure out what enemies I'm going to be fighting on this side of the map. The Mutz has good overall mobility. It's got a top speed of 50 kilometers per hour and a horsepower to weight ratio of 17.15. This makes it quite a mobile tank, but 50 kilometers isn't that special at tier 8 for a medium tank, and I've found that most players haven't had trouble hitting me on the move. This mobility gives you flexibility on how you want to play the Mutz. You can use it like I am and play it more active, or you can play it a little more passively and use the mobility to move around the map, finding different areas to sit in a bush and set up your binoculars to spot out the enemy while getting some easy snipes, which gives you some great tactical flexibility depending on the map and the tier. Now here we're getting a good look at this tank's ridgeline fighting capabilities. Its 10 degrees of gun depression allows me to easily peek up over the hill here and get shots on this Panther too. But I did not realize that I was so overextended there and I'd take a huge hit from an Object 704 sitting in the back. I'm glad to know that he's back there, but not at the cost of over half my hit points. This tank has very little armor on both its hull and turret, and you're unlikely to see it bouncing too many shots in a game, especially not from high-pen tank destroyers. So you're going to have to rely on your mobility, tactical awareness, and gun depression to use the terrain around you to hit distracted enemies, and minimize your tank's profile while you're doing this. Otherwise you'll get worn down very quickly by most other tanks, and although it does have a decent reload time for a 90mm cannon at tier 8, it doesn't give enough damage per minute to make it worth it sitting out in the open and trading shots. Most of the time you're going to be better off waiting till you have direct support from your teammates. Now speaking of teammates, the Mutz is a pretty good choice to run in a medium tank wolf pack. The tank's mobility, relatively small profile, and decently fast shooting gun makes it a good addition to a swarm of medium tanks, which makes aggressive moves on targets that are overextended or in the mid to late game when the enemy has thinned out. And when you're not doing assault moves, your gun depression allows you to work around your platoon mates quite easily in a variety of situations, which is very important when you get in large groups of tanks. The next thing to look at is the Mutz's gun. The gun has 0.36 accuracy, which is about average for a tier 8 medium tank. But since this tank is so soft, you're going to find yourself having to fight at a greater distance a lot of the time if you're going to want to make the most of the tank. And so that 0.36 accuracy starts to feel a little mediocre. So I decided to run chocolate on my Mutz to specifically help with this. I found it worth it so far, especially when fighting tier 10s, because it gives you that extra reliability to target their weak spots. And you can see here I'm shooting at enemies that are about 400 meters away, and the gun's performing quite well for a medium tank. But there's still a lot of RNG involved in these shots, and I'd be relying on a lot more luck without the chocolate. And with the amazing silver earning potential that all of the Beasts of War tanks have, I'm never worried about losing silver. This semi-aggressive position I've moved up into has worked out well so far. It gave me that extra little bit of reach that my spotting range needed to spot out the enemy snipers in the back. It's allowed my teammates to get shots on them, and I've racked up 11 spotted target hits. I've been playing a little too aggressively to take full advantage of my binoculars that I have equipped on this tank, but I have gotten a few chances to set them up, and I'm definitely glad to have them in this situation, even though having them instead of the coated optics minimizes my spotting range while on the move. It's definitely worth the trade-off, and the chocolate helps make up for it a little bit anyways. Although I'm getting some great spotted target ribbons and some decent sniping opportunities, I don't like being so stationary with this tank, but I don't have a whole lot of options here because I've given up the majority of my hit points through 2 sniper shots, and now I'm pretty much a one-shot for most tanks. But with the amount of enemies that are on this side of the map, if I did try to make an aggressive push, it probably wouldn't go over too well. Not only because of the snipers that the enemy has here, but also because they're well positioned to cover each other. So for now, it's going to be a very long battle of wearing each other down. Finally, we're making some real progress on these snipers. We've managed to take out the Object 704, the Borsig, the AT-15A, and now the AT-7. My teammates and I have managed to wear down the enemy quite well, so now all that's left on this side of the map is the T-10, which we can shoot at from multiple angles. This battle has taken so long because there's no artillery in the game, and both teams have had an even dispersion across the map. My teammate makes a move here to try to finish off the T-10, and I think I would have been in time to help him out, but he makes two foolish rams on a heavy tank and it ends up allowing the T-10 to finish him off without even firing another shot. It's a shame to lose a teammate that way, but at least we now have the T-10 out of the way. And now the only enemies that are remaining are on the hill on the other side of the map. And even though the game is still pretty close, we're going to have a tactical advantage over them, because we're going to be able to shoot at them from many different directions, and the hill up there doesn't offer a lot of cover. The enemy Jagdtiger has a fairly good position there, and it's making it difficult for me to get shots in on the exposed targets on the hill. Now all that's left is the Jagdtiger. It's still aimed towards me, so I'm not going to be able to get an easy shot. And even though I've run out of AP rounds and I'm now shooting APCR rounds, there's not enough penetration to be able to just snapshot through the Jagdtiger's top plate or superstructure. So I just had to be content here with spotted damage and a few lousy snapshots. Now let's check the post-game stats and see how I did. For this game, I managed to earn 59,000 silver without any multipliers, remembering that I had to pay for 2 premium consumables and I fired a couple premium rounds at the end of the game. I also earned 2,960 experience without any multipliers. In this game, I dealt 2,790 damage, assisted with 2,274 damage, and destroyed 3 enemies. That's a nice balance between damage and assisted damage, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to earn me any epic medals this game. I placed at the top of my team, earning a base XP of 1,794. I managed to hit 23 of my 33 shots and penetrate 14 of those. Those numbers are decent considering I was fighting a lot of heavily armored targets from a distance, but when it's top tier and in an ideal situation, the Mutz can be a lot more reliable than this. I did very little in terms of crew and module damage this game. I injured the loader in the AT-15, and injured the gunner in the Scorpion G. Well, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing that game with the Panzer 58 Mutz, and that my first impression will help you decide whether this is a good tank for your garage. Stay tuned for more awesome World of Tanks videos.